American Airlines has joined a list of carriers temporarily cutting routes because of the war with Iran. The carrier says it adjusted schedules for selected routes in August and September in response to elevated fuel costs. Now, the routes being temporarily cut include flights from Los Angeles to Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh, and Washington Dulles. Also affected are flights from Charlotte to Ontario and Sacramento. Now, jet fuel accounts for roughly 25 to 30% of an airline's overall costs, according to industry analysts. And with a deal to end the war with Iran remaining elusive, the choke on global oil supplies is driving up carriers' operating costs. Although last month saw a gradual fall in the global average jet fuel price, it's still considerably higher than before the start of the conflict. That's according to the International Air Transport Association. And just last week, the European Union warned if the situation in the Strait of Hormuz doesn't improve in the coming weeks, the market for jet fuel could get even tighter. Joining us now to discuss this is Apostolos Tzitzikostas. He's the European Union's Commissioner for Sustainable Transport and Tourism. Commissioner, good morning and welcome. For Americans hoping to travel to Europe this summer, in the days and weeks ahead, are there any concerns about the EU's jet fuel supplies right now?
Well, good morning from Brussels. Look, some of the headlines in the past suggested that Europe was 6 weeks away from running out of jet fuel. And of course, it's now proved that it was not the case. And I want to be clear. There is currently no jet fuel shortage in Europe. Supply chains, of course, have been disrupted, but not broken. Disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz have reduced fuel imports, but they have not stopped. We import here in Europe only 20% of jet fuels from the Gulf because we are refining around 70 to 80% of the fuel that we use. And our refineries have increased production in the past weeks. We also have emergency stocks that can be released if and when necessary. And we have diversified our imports. Of course, I'm not saying that there are no challenges because the market is tight. There is a lot of uncertainty and jet fuel prices doubled since the start of the crisis. Fuel costs, as you said correctly, make about 1/3 of the airline's operating expenses. So currently all flight cancellations announced were due to high jet fuel prices, not due to fuel shortages. And fuel price volatility indeed remains a foreseeable part of airline operations. The European Commission considers that cancellations that are caused by high fuel prices are not considered as extraordinary circumstances. So in case that we have last-minute cancellations, airlines remain obliged here in Europe to assist the passengers and to reimburse them and to reroute them.
That considering the crisis is not as bad as it may have appeared 6 weeks ago, you're still talking about pressures and increased jet fuel costs. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed. The war continues. So have some European carriers expressed concern about what they're experiencing now and what's to come?
Yes, indeed. We are monitoring the situation very closely. The situation, as I told you, is tight. There is no question about that. But at this point, there is no issue of shortages of jet fuel. The problem is in the prices. And of course, in the past days, the past weeks, we've seen some decline in the prices of jet fuels, which is good. But of course, what we need and what we want to see is the fastest possible to put an end to this war, to the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, so that we can return to the normal situation we were before the war. And always keep in mind that even if the war was to end today, we still would need months in order for the situation to normalize again at the levels that it was before the war.
And so, Commissioner, before we run out of time, have you seen an impact on tourism to or through Europe as a result of this yet? And do you fear that if you haven't seen it yet, that may be to come?
Well, Aaron, Europe remains open, remains safe and incredibly attractive for travelers from around the world. In uncertain times, you know very well that people look for safety, they look for stability, they look for value. And Europe offers all three. Europeans are still traveling. I expect no change there as we approach the peak summer season. Demand overall, you should know, remains resilient, and we even have recorded a small increase in travelers' numbers in Europe. So we may see fewer visitors from the Middle East, yes, and it's unfortunate, but strong demand for travel within Europe will more than compensate this loss. And at the same time, with the Middle East destination attracting fewer tourists, I expect travelers to look for a similar experience in Europe instead, in Southern Europe, for example.
Interesting. Well, we appreciate you connecting with us and giving us an update on this front. An open invite for you to return any time. Commissioner Apostolos.
Thank you very much.
Tzitzikostas.
Thank you.